Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. We have another tricky Clues by Sam to do today. Are you excited for that? I am. So, if you don't know what Clues by Sam is, it is a daily puzzle game where we have 20 people. Each of them must be a criminal or an innocent, and you gotta review their roles using the clues that they themselves give you. Sometimes the game's harder, sometimes it is easier. So, today we have a tricky one, and if you wanna play too, there is a link in the description to take you to it. And if you want to do it along with me, I'm going to start mine right now and I'm going to explain my logic as I go. So let's start. We start with Paul telling us that exactly 2 of Jerry's 4 innocent neighbors also neighbor Olive. Well, Jerry has 8 neighbors total and 4 of them are innocents. 2 of them are shared with Olive, and Jerry and Olive share 2 people total, so both of them have to be innocents. Now Jerry has only 2 more innocent neighbors around him. Nick tells us there is only one innocent to the right of Laura, and that person is Nick himself, so both Megan and Olive have to be criminals. None of them is an innocent. And now Katie tells us there's an odd number of innocents to the right of Alex. So that means that the second, because Jerry needs 2 more innocent neighbors, right? It couldn't be that both of them are to the right of Alex, and all of the people to the right of Alex neighbor Jerry. So that makes it so that one of them only is an innocent, because if it were 2, there would be an even number of people to the right of Alex who are innocents. And Isaac, who is not to the right of Alex, is an innocent. So, I'm gonna leave Katie's clue there. We have Megan's clue. There's an odd number of criminals neighboring Saga. Okay, Saga has 8 neighbors as well, and an odd number of them are criminals. Let's leave that there. And Katie tells, oh, not Katie. We've read that already, right? So Olive tells us there's an equal number of innocents in rows 1 and 3. Innocents. So that means that what Laura is makes Alex the same. Because there's going to be 1 innocent here in row 1. Row 3 has only 1 innocent here. That's the same number of people. So Laura is the same as Alex. Who else has a new clue? Isaac. Donna is one of 2 criminals in row 1. So Donna is a criminal, and now we know there's 2 criminals only in row 1, which means that Alex is not a criminal since 2 are to his right. Alex is an innocent, and that makes Laura the same as him, an innocent as well. Donna now tells us that exactly 3 of the 8 innocents on the edges are Isaac's neighbors. Where's Isaac? Isaac also has 8 people neighboring him total. 8 innocents are on the edges total. And 3 of them are Isaac's. So we know for sure that Bruce or Cheryl are gonna be an innocent because Jerry needs 1 more innocent neighboring him. And they are shared with Isaac, so that's Isaac's last innocent neighbor because Alex and Laura both are innocent already and neighbor Isaac. So that makes Hope a criminal. And Donna also tells us there's 8 innocents total on the edges, so let's leave that there to remind us of that later. Laura now tells us that row 5 is the only row with exactly 1 criminal. So that makes row 2 have to have 2 criminals because it already has 1, who's Hope. So Jerry couldn't be an innocent, otherwise row 2 would also have only 1 criminal. So Jerry is a criminal. And now Hope tells us there's an odd number of criminals to the right of Uma. Criminals. So how do we think about that? Saga has to have an odd number of criminals neighboring her in total, right? Let's say that everybody down here is a criminal to make an odd number. Everybody in row 5 neighboring Saga is a criminal because they're to the right of Uma, and 3 is an odd number. How many innocents do we have on the edges now? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We could have 6 and 7 with Thor and Uma. So I guess we gotta figure out Thor and Uma first. But didn't we have something about row 5? There's an equal number of instances in rows 1 and 3. We don't need that anymore. An odd number of instances right of Alex, we don't need that anymore. Row 5 is the only row with exactly one criminal, so if there were to be only one criminal here, neighboring Saga, in row 5, then Uma would have to be a criminal as well. That's something to think about. And Saga would still have 3 instant criminal neighbors, which is an odd number. So that works. But how many criminals or how many instances do we have now on the edges? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Thor would have to be an instant to make 8 total on the edges. If everybody here were a criminal, then Saga would still have an odd number of criminal neighbors. So that will make either both Ruby and Thor criminals to keep odd number, or both of them instants to keep the odd number. And that works. So I think I have to look at something else. Let's think about it. 3 instances on the edges, I6 neighbor. Okay, so we figured that out. Odd number of instances right of Alex, yes. Donna is one of 2 criminals in row 1. Yeah, there's gonna be a second one. There's an odd number of criminals to right of Uma. Okay. Row 5 has only 1 criminal. Oh, I forgot we were talking about row 5. So Saga has only 1 criminal neighboring her in row 5. And since how do we know that Saga has 1 criminal neighboring her in row 5? Could it be Uma only? If Uma were the criminal, and both Megan and Olive are criminals neighboring Saga, and everybody else here is an instant, somebody else here would have to be an instant and the other one a criminal, so that Saga could have an odd number of criminals neighboring her, right? Yeah, Megan says there's an odd number of criminals neighboring Saga. So how many instances do we have on the edges now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that will break. It wouldn't if Thor were a criminal as well and Saga an instant. Now, Saga, not Saga, Ruby. Now, Saga has 3 criminal neighbors. And she herself would have to be a criminal so that row 4 doesn't have 1 criminal only. Right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If, on the other hand, I guess our total is made anyway, so Thor is always a criminal. Because in any way we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people who are instants on the edges already, and in row 5 there is gonna be 3 more. There's no way for there to be less than that because there's only 1 criminal in row 5, and all of the people in row 5 are on the edges. So Thor has to always be a criminal because he's also on the edge. Okay. What about now? Saga has an odd number of criminals neighboring her. So what do we do now? We know there has to be at least 1 more criminal here in row 5. In row 4, sorry. Because row 5 is the only one with a single criminal. So let's say that Saga. That'll make everybody else. If Ruby were to be a criminal, Saga would need to have 1 criminal down here neighboring her to make an odd number. And if Ruby were to be an Incin, everybody down here would have to be an Incin as well, so that Saga has an odd number. That works. But there's a clue telling us there's an odd number of criminals to the right of Uma, which means that Uma is not a criminal herself because row 5 is the only row with exactly one criminal, and that criminal is to the right of her. Why did it take so long to get to that? And that means that Saga is gonna have one criminal down here neighboring her, which means that Ruby couldn't be a criminal, otherwise Saga is gonna have... Oh, Ruby has to be a criminal, otherwise Saga is gonna have an even number of criminals neighboring her, because now she has 4. One of them is for sure gonna be in row 5, and that's the 4th one. So that makes Ruby a criminal as well to make 5 an odd number. Okay. Sorry about all that. I'm saying sorry a lot lately. I'm gonna stop apologizing. Catch up. Ruby now says that only one person in column C has exactly 5 criminal neighbors. And that's Saga. Which means that Nick couldn't have 5 as well. And Nick has 5 already. Saga has to be the 6th one to not have 5 too. Now Saga tells us that no one in column D has more than 2 Incin neighbors. More than 2 Incin neighbors. So let's say that Wally was a criminal. That would make both Xavi and Ziad Incins, right? Because Saga only has 1 Incin neighbor down here. And now Thor, who is in column D, has 3 Incin neighbors. That couldn't happen. So we know that the criminal is down here for sure. And that Wally is an Incin. And now Wally tells us that 2 of Cheryl's neighbors on the edges are Incins. Where's Cheryl? Cheryl only has 1 more neighbor on the edge who doesn't have a row and has to be an Incin in this case, who's Bruce. Because Katie is her only Incin neighbor on the edge. So Bruce has to be an Incin. That makes Cheryl a criminal. And Bruce now tells us that Ruby has exactly 6 Incin neighbors. Where's Ruby? Ruby so far has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Incin neighbors, which means that she has to have a 6th one, and that's Xavi. And that makes Ziad a criminal. Good. I like it. Very nice. So, what do you think of my solve? Did you get angry with me not getting to the Uma situation that she had 1 criminal to her right, then she couldn't be a criminal? Because when I got to that, I was like, oh, that was so obvious for a long time. So sorry about that. Oh, I said I wasn't gonna say sorry. No sorries. I'm gonna get better tomorrow, I promise. I hope you did the puzzle as well and it was nice for you. Let me know how it went, and I'll see you tomorrow here again for more Clues by Sam. Is it Friday tomorrow? So let's see if it is a tricky one. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.